Howdy, y'all. So on the next episode of Ricky's Big World, we gonna spill all the tea.
She took an old-fashioned broom.
Yeah.
And she took a paper plate. And she took top of a broom stick.
Yeah.
She put a hole in it, and she put it all the way down to the end of the broom.
Yeah.
Right? She started hovering, doing like this, and making it beep, 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 beep. I said, what are you doing? That's my Hoe Finder. You know how they got a stud finder? That's my Hoe Finder. I'm going to take my Hoe Finder down there. I'm going to go find her.
Back in the pizza world caverns, behind the test ovens, and in reality next to the bathrooms, it's Ricky's Big World.
Welcome to another episode of Ricky's Big World. So every time before an episode, you know how you got the clapper thing that does this to let you know in films that you're about to start? She does that. She goes, ready to go.
And every time we laugh.
Every time. All right, so what do you want to talk about today?
It's been a while since we've talked about these topics. Family.
Oh.
We have not talked about the fam in a while. And I'm telling you, I'm starting to have Auntie Wigs withdrawals. We haven't talked about Uncle Pork Bottoms and his...
Well, see, I never talk about my daddy either.
You haven't. That's correct. You haven't.
So let's talk about my daddy. So my daddy, I know I'm a grown man. I said daddy, but that's a Southern thing. Okay. So my daddy wasn't there when I was a kid growing up a lot because they got divorced when I was real young, 5 years old. And he was in and out, in and out, in and out. All right. That's a whole background I don't want to go into. But since here lately, we've had a pretty good relationship. Right? Well, this dumb redneck, he had to have stents put in his legs because of whatever reason. And oh God, that smells so
I was going to say, do you smell it? They just put something in an oven.
Oh, so he had stents put in the leg. Well, all of a sudden, my sister started sending me these pictures of his foot. And I was like, ooh, that's not looking good. I went through that. Now, I realized that I am like my father. And I never realized that till this happened. When I had my flesh-eating disease issue that took my first leg, I was in constant pain, 24 hours, 7 days a week. And I was unbelievably intolerable because I was yelling at people. I was angry. Because I was hurting so bad. I was exhausted because I couldn't sleep because I was hurting so bad. It was awful. He was going through the same thing because he started getting these sores on his feet, like horrible sores. And I told him, I said, you have got to go to emergency room now. He refused. The woman that's his girlfriend, if they get married, maybe his 7th or 8th wife, she is so frustrated with him because he keeps yelling at her, keeps this, and all she wants to do is help him. He refused to go. Well, he went to the hospital. He walked right back out.
What?
He said goodbye. He walked out. So then things started getting worse. And he's a truck driver by trade. And he's been trucking as long as I've been alive. I think he started the year I was born. That's how long he's been trucking. And we ain't discussing what year I was born. Okay. So I'm seeing all these pictures and everything else. And then my sister manages to get him back to the hospital again. And because he said, okay, I'll go. So he went, they had to pump him full of so many antibiotics. They think that the stent that was somewhere down the lower part of the leg clogged up. And it was causing infection into his foot. I said, I had flesh-eating disease and bone disease. I lost both legs because I was dumb and didn't go to the hospital when I should have because I thought I can take care of it myself.
Yeah.
I said, you are following in my footsteps. Please don't do that. So he finally went. I just got off the phone before we started filming. And he sounded so much better.
That's good.
He's got to go back. They got to do stents from upper hip all the way down to the leg. So they got to fillet him open like a fish and put these, but it's going to be okay. He's going to be okay. I'm happy. But hard-headed, man, I'm telling you what, he was screaming and yelling at everybody, calling everything out of the book you could think of. And my sister is hardcore. And she cussed him out from neck to navel. And
sometimes tough love is needed.
that's exactly what he needed. That's what I needed. That's why Jennifer, and when I try to make this into a sappy thing, I'm just trying to say that that's what's going on with him now.
Yeah.
Because he's hard-headed. And he think he know everything. And he don't. So if you're watching this, you don't. Okay? So do what the women say and go.
I was trying to figure out what they've been banging on over there. They were building a shelf.
I had that same shelf in my kitchen in Iowa City.
Oh, yeah?
It was all black, though. It didn't have the chrome. So anyways, say about Auntie Wigs, man.
I need some updates. I'm
So-
having withdrawals. Don't tell anybody, but she's one of my favorites. We know that.
Auntie Wigs threatened to drive from Columbus, Georgia, Phoenix City, Alabama area to my house in Louisiana.
What did you do?
And I said, I don't have a problem with you coming out. You can come out. So this heifer gets in her brand new Cadillac, drives all the way to my house. Didn't tell us she was coming. And she calls me up. Reggie, where you at? I said, I'm in Atlanta. Why the hell are you in Atlanta? I said, because I'm filming a TV series.
No.
I'm at your house. I'm sitting in it. It's all right. I like it. It's okay. Do you mind if I go in? I got to pee. And I said, you're calling me in the middle of the week. Jennifer's at work. My mother-in-law might be there, but she don't know you. And so, no. And I said, why don't you call and let me know? You could just drove up to Atlanta and see me.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a surprise. You know how you get that dead bush in the front yard and all of a sudden it starts blooming these pretty magical flowers. That's me. I was like, there's nothing magical about you, lady. I mean, so I said, and I hear people in the car, and I said, who's all with you? Well, Auntie Big Toe's with us. We got, you got Auntie Celine, and we got No Name with us too. And I said, who is No Name? Don't worry about it. She just wanted to come because she wants free food. So she evidently knows somebody in New Orleans. So she went to New Orleans and stayed there with them. And then she said, when you going to be back? I don't know. I didn't want to tell her when I was going to be back.
Ricky.
And so, yeah, hold on. Don't Ricky me. Oh, no. You don't know the drama this woman brings with her. The women bring with them. Okay? Because I know what would happen. I know what Auntie Big Toe be walking around with that big old pterodactyl foot and put holes in my walls. Okay? I can't do that.
She's not putting holes in
And then she gonna soak that big toe in my pool and I gotta disinfect the thing.
Oh my goodness.
And we already had an alligator in my pool.
Mr. Ricky.
I can't have no pterodactyl dinosaur in there too.
Oh.
Auntie Wigs, I haven't seen her without a wig on in decades. And she ain't gonna get in no pool and mess her hair up. So, and then she'd be like, I think the water too cold. Why don't you go out there and buy a heater for it or something? What's wrong? I don't like the color. It don't smell right. You know my nose. I can tell you when it's gonna rain. There's just something wrong with the pool. And I don't want her doing that. And then she'll compare. She's like, I got 4 bathrooms. Why you only got 3? Did you bring one with you? I would have said that.
Did you bring one with you?
So I said, come on. So now she's like telling everybody, this is what I heard through the grapevine. I drove all the way out there to see my favorite nephew named Ricky. And then he shooed me away. He didn't want me there. And I just feel like, I'm not wanted nowhere I go. So I know her drama.
Poor Auntie Wigs.
So I'm not poor Auntie Wigs. I know you did. So I called her up.
But she wouldn't feel that way if you would have just told her when you were coming back.
No, ma'am. No, man, you don't come all the way to my house, 6 hours, hour drive, and then not tell me that you're coming so I can prep things. Okay?
But she's your
I put-
elder.
I-
And she came to
is.
surprise you.
She ain't surprised by my reaction.
She drove 6.
Ain't nobody asked her to. That's the thing. Ain't nobody asked her to drive in that big old Cadillac. And then she told me, you owe me gas money. I know I don't, lady. I don't owe you no damn gas money. You crazy. And I would give it to her. But she's rich. Why she need my money for? So she's telling people that. And I'm getting phone calls. Ricky, why you treat your auntie like that? I ain't treat her like that. Hold on. So I called her up. And in fact, I called her up on the way here. Because I've been trying to get in touch with her since I got back from Atlanta.
Well, yeah, she's probably hurt.
No, she went on a cruise.
Yeah, she's hurting so bad she had to go on a cruise. I did tell you she's one of my favorites. I've never met her, but...
Listen to the conversation. So, I should have recorded it, but no. So this thing, I call her up. And she answers the phone. Yes, ex-favorite nephew named Ricky.
Mm-hmm.
I said, why do you say that? You know why. I drove all the way there. I said, we already had this conversation before, but we're gonna have it again. I said, I understand that you were going around putting my name in your mouth and telling people something that didn't happen. She said, did I drive out there? I said, yes, you did. She said, did you dismiss me to go home? I said, yes, I did. She said, facts speak for themselves. I said, but did you bother to tell them that you just drove out there not knowing if I was home, didn't call nobody to tell them you were coming, and nobody even asked you to bring other people with you, especially somebody I don't even know. Auntie No Name. I don't know who that is. So we on the phone. She yelled at me, click, she hung up on me. I called her back. I said, no, baby, you ain't hanging up on me. Click, she hung up on me again. So I called her back again. I said, lady, if you hang up on me one more time,
Click.
you ain't coming back. You ain't ever coming to my house. And she was like, let me tell you something. It would be a pleasure for you if I came to your house. I would make your house smell better than it ever smelled before. And I'm like, I think so, Miss Lady. I know the formaldehyde smell. I've been to a morgue. I know that smell.
That's so messed up.
Click.
You deserved it on that one.
And then I called Auntie Big Toe. I said, Auntie Big Toe, how did Auntie Wigs drag you all the way to Louisiana to see me? I'm not talking to you right now. I said, why? Because you dismissed us. I said, no, ma'am. And then she said, well, I told her that we need to call and get this situated first before we ever come out there. But no. She said, oh, we always welcome at Ricky's house. True. But let me know so I can prep. She don't like how many pillows we put on the spare bedroom bed. So she would have complained about that. Hold on. Ooh, that throat thing going on. So then I heard Auntie Wigs say he went on a cruise, like a 3-day cruise to the Bahamas. And they were at a market, and they were telling me, or she was telling me that while they're at this market, and they were like, Auntie Big Toe said, you know what? I think Ricky would like this in the house. And that lady started telling all the stuff to a stranger. I'd buy it, but my nephew Ricky dismissed me when I drove all the way out to Louisiana, and he don't love me no more. I ain't buying him a damn thing.
The strangers on the cruise know all about you now,
no,
too.
in the Bahamas.
In the
at
Bahamas.
the marketplace.
Oh, my goodness.
Because they have these different marketplaces.
You're known all around for your bad behavior.
For my ratchetedness and villain. So, that's okay. That's okay. Because
So next time you're in the Bahamas and you hear some people complaining.
Next time I'm in the Bahamas, I like that. No, what's funny is, if I did that to her, same thing. What are you doing in my house? You didn't tell me how. See, I can't do that to her. I'm going to.
You gonna go down there next week? Now, does Auntie Wigs still listen to the podcast?
I hope so. I really hope so.
I love her so much.
Now, when I was in Columbus, Georgia, because while I was in Atlanta, I decided to drive down to Columbus to see family.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's getting worse or not, but so I drove down and saw them. I went to go see my Aunt Carol, and we went to a Mexican restaurant while we were there. And love her, by the way, just a great person. But problem with my Aunt Carol is she will be 70 this year.
It's crazy.
Does not look it.
Wow.
So I took a picture of
Awesome.
her with the food. I wanted to show Jennifer the food.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed it. I sent one to Aunt Carol. Don't I look wonderful to be 70? Would you ever believe I'm 70 years old? Look at my skin. It's flawless. It's beautiful. And I said, yeah, I mean, you look good, but I mean, you know, maybe I need to go do some speed dating or something. She said the VFW got speed dating. We can go there.
The VFW.
You know what? And she, both my Aunt Myra and my Aunt Carol were absolutely gorgeous in their younger days. I mean, they could have been models, and Judy too. Could have been models. The men were ratchety, but the women, and even as they aged, they look amazing.
Yeah. What's their secret?
Genetics.
Anyways, what's their secret?
I have no idea.
Can you get it and bring it back?
Okay.
Thanks.
I said genetics, but you didn't like that.
That's not the answer.
Dermatologica, maybe, evidently. Speaking of Dermatologica, y'all need to sponsor us because we're talking about y'all a lot. Anyway, and my Aunt Myra lives in Panama City, Florida. And every time I talk to her, she got to complain about the HOA. You know what the HOA people did today? I was like, what? They told me my fence is too high. I got to get the chainsaw and saw it off.
What?
I was like, why? No way. And it's like, and I joined the board. I'm not quitting the board. I don't like it.
But if she was on the board, would she have to cut her fence?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
It's a very good question.
I love that you also can relate to HOA problems now. We've already discussed them, but I just thought it was a funny parallel.
She pays more than I do.
Does she really?
She lives in a like a condo setting, but it's like a 1-floor condo.
Oh, yeah.
And beautiful area. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. But when she moved there, I said, oh, I don't know how people do condo or HOAs. And then what the hell do I do? Get into an HOA. So, Uncle Pork Bottoms.
There we go. By the way, he's more than welcome to come up and bring treats.
Uncle Pork Bottoms has a friend of his who works for NASA.
Hold up.
And he's friend
got connection.
Oh yeah. Oh my sister. All right. Let's see. All of us have different mamas and daddies. Okay, just let you know. So, my mama Donna and my father had myself and my brother who passed away. He was like 22 months old. So, my sister has same father, different mom. Sister Melissa has same mama, different daddy. Brother David, same mama, different daddy. No, same daddy, different mom. I forgot. Same mama, different. So anyway,
You guys all have different parents.
but
But one's parent.
Anyway, so David lives in Huntsville, Alabama, and his wife works for NASA there.
Okay.
Uncle Pork Bottoms has a friend who works for NASA that he's sweet on. Yes.
Oh, this ain't just any other friend.
Oh, she's an engineer. at NASA, and so he drives down to Florida to see her at the Kennedy Space Center.
Ooh.
And he was telling me, he's like,
This is the tea.
he's like, Ricky, I went down and I saw Monica again. I said, oh, okay, how's she doing? She said she wants to move in with me. I said, move in with you or you move in with her? Oh, it don't matter. It's going to be my house either way. And I said, so how did this come out? Well, we went out to a restaurant and she sat there looking at me while I was eating a cheeseburger and I had food falling out my mouth. And she said, you know, I just really like you a lot. You want to move in together? And he said, move in. He said, why the hell would I want to move in? And she was like, well, guys, we're great together. And he said, I see you every 2 weeks. I don't want to see you every day. and he said, and I don't like where you live. I can't make my pork rinds. Because she lives in a condo, really beautiful, high-dollar condo.
Yeah.
Near there that I think NASA pays for.
Right.
But there's no backyard for him to do anything.
And he needs to make pork rinds.
He lives on like, what? I think it's like 14 acres of land or whatever it is.
Wow.
I forgot how many acres it is. Huge amount of land. And he's got like 3 to 4 huge metal walks that are like bigger than this table that he makes his pork rinds and fries fish and everything. And he was like, if I can't bring my walks, I ain't moving nowhere. And she said, are you telling me the walks are more important to me? Yes. I said, what did she say to that? She's okay with it. And he was like, well, so she tried.
Yeah.
And he said he wasn't interested.
Oh.
And she was like, okay. And they still, whatever they are.
Oh, interesting.
And then he entered a, what do you call it, a fair, a state fair with his pork rinds. And
I thought you said a fair.
A fair.
Like an affair. And I was like,
no, not an affair.
I was like, this is getting real
Oh,
spicy.
he won't do that. He did that in his younger years, but not now. He ain't got the stamina for that. So he goes and he's entered this fair for his pork rinds, and there was somebody else there that had pork rinds too.
Oh my goodness.
And he found out about it because that person come walking over and was sniffing around, and one of his employees that was there overheard him say, "This ain't as good as my pork rinds," and all that. So my uncle goes over there, and I hate to say this, I love Uncle Pork Bottoms, but he's been to jail a couple of times. He goes over there and flips the table over that had the pork rinds on
What?
it, and takes the butane gas tanks and hides them.
No more pork rinds.
No more pork rinds. I told him, I said, why did you do that? I said, that's childish. Why would you do that? That's not how we do things. We got to get you before you get us.
All right, fair enough.
I got. It's like, okay. So then he lowered his prices just a little bit because it was like $15 for a big thing of pork rinds.
Yeah.
And if you want any kind of like chili or whatever it is, that's extra. So he lowered his price to $8, which the other guy was charging $12.
Yeah, you got to undercut him.
He
You're going to
undercut
get the
him.
business.
And all of a sudden people start flocking, which they're fantastic pork rinds. I mean, they are flavorful.
Yeah, you keep saying this, and I've never had them, and I'm
I'm
kind of bitter about it. Not from
Fresh
Uncle Pork Bottom.
Oh, no, not from him. He uses peanut oil.
See.
So I told him, I said, so what did you walk away with after all this? He made over $100,000.
Shut up. Seriously?
Seriously.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Have you ever seen? There's a show. I can't remember what it's on, and it's talking about the fair in Texas, and all these different vendors are competing. And what they do is they take the tickets and you put it in a box, and then you weigh the box, and however much that box is weight tells you how much money you've collected.
Yeah.
By the way, he said by the end of it, he made over, I think it's like $120,000. In, how many days was it? 25 days, whatever it was.
That's insane.
Y'all need to do that. But yes, you have to pay to get in.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
do that.
Well, and you need to pay for, your ingredients and things like that too. And
yeah, but the cost.
people helping you and
Your assets are more than the liabilities.
I'm sure.
So
Crazy. Who knew where the money was?
I told him, I said, so what'd you do with the money? And he's like, I put it in the bank like I always do. He doesn't spend money at all. He hates spending money. Those walks he got, 2 of them were given to him. The other 2 he got from an auction.
That's crazy.
Because he don't want to spend money. I'm the same way. I don't like spending money at all.
I don't blame him.
So he did that. And him and Auntie Wigs got into a fight. Because he, in fact, has to do with Monica down in Florida.
How'd Monica come back into this?
He showed her a picture of Monica. She was nosy. She said, what's Monica look like? I bet she's trash, ain't she?
That's not very nice.
That's Auntie Wigs. You know that?
I know.
Things come out of her head. She has no filter. So
We still love her.
he shows her a picture. She looked better with a wig on.
She's out there hustling.
She
I
hustling.
told you.
And so,
I admire her hustle.
so she handed him a business card and said, tell her to call me. I'll fix her up right, because right now she looks straggly. And he said, well, if she's a scientist, they don't worry about that. Oh, baby, need to worry about them split ends. It's all messed up.
Always hustling.
So he got mad, cussed her out, and walked out. But he gave her the card because she called her. And
What? It
yes,
worked.
Monica called her. And she said, hold on. She said, is this Auntie Wigs? I don't know what she sounded like, but that's the way she sounded in my head. Yeah, it is. Who did? This is Monica. This is Uncle Pork Bottoms. I don't want to say the real name. This is Uncle Pork Bottoms' girlfriend. I don't appreciate you sending me a business card telling me I need a wig. I'm fine the way I am. Auntie Wigs said, no, baby, I'm sorry. Let me be the magic mirror to tell you the truth.
What is...
She said, think about Snow White and the Evil Queen talking in the mirror. I'm telling you the truth. You ain't the fairest one of all. So every day I'm hearing this conversation from Auntie Wigs. All right. And she's telling me, I ain't believe that no-foot heifer gonna call me up and tell me that, she ain't this. I got eyes. I can see. I saw that picture. And then she tells the lady, she said, maybe that was your Halloween picture.
She is ruthless.
I said, Auntie Wigs, you did not tell that to that poor lady. She need to hear it. She works for NASA. She worked for me. I said, what you mean by that? That's a government job.
She ain't wrong.
I said, okay, all right. I get you on that one right there.
Yeah.
But she, all right, so Monica evidently hung up on her.
Yeah, I would too.
Click. She calls Monica back. And she said,
No, she didn't.
I know you didn't hang up on me, baby. She said, the way you look right there, you ain't got no right to be hanging up on nobody. And then she started going into telling her how she needs to fix her own hair. And she said, what you need to do is get a swing back, get this, some lotion, do something. Maybe shave it all off. Something, baby. Because I tell you what, when I shave my dog ass and I make it walk backwards, that looks better than what's on top of your head.
Compared it to her dog's
ass.
Yeah.
And then she hung up. Click. Monica did not call her back. And then Uncle Pork Bottoms calls her. And she says, hello? Is this my ex-sister? And he said, who this? This Uncle Pork Bottoms. I'm coming over your house right now. Click. So he drives this big old 19-something Oldsmobile Broom all the way to her house. Walks in there and start cussing her out from neck to ass.
I mean,
Hair follicle to toenails.
to be fair, she's a little bit of a mean girl.
And
that's coming from a supporter of
Auntie
Auntie Wigs.
is like 4'9" at most.
She would scare me.
Okay? Uncle Pork Bottoms is taller than me
Yeah.
and wider, bigger than me. All right, so you got this big old man in overalls walking in. He's looking down. I know you didn't sit there and cuss my baby out. And she's looking up at her. Oh, no, hell no, I know you can't. I mean, they having a conversation. And so I imagine this conversation in my head because I'm being told now by Auntie Big Toe. And Auntie Big Toe,
How'd she get involved?
she was over there when he drove over there.
Oh, no.
She wasn't there when Monica and her were talking.
That's
The phone.
unfortunate because it would have been nice to have her perspective as well.
Oh, I got her
So-
perspective. It was accurate, dead on. Because again, Auntie Wigs ain't gonna lie about nothing. If she calls somebody a hoe, she gonna call somebody a hoe. Okay, excuse me.
I believe it.
Auntie Big Toe got a little bit more class. Not much. Not much, but I mean, she does bedazzle her toe. So I mean, there's that.
As she should.
There she should. Yeah,
She should embrace it.
The whole toe though, when it's flaky.
Good
no,
for her.
No,
She needs to embrace
she's putting piercings.
what
in.
she got.
She can't feel it nothing. Anyway, so she's over there with Auntie Big Toe, Auntie Pork Bottoms. Uncle Pork Bottoms gets there. And she said, Ricky, you should have seen him. I ain't never seen him fight for a woman like that before. And then by the end of the conversation, evidently he said, yeah, she look a little raggedy, ain't she?
So, at the end of it, he agreed?
He agreed. But he had to stand up for his lady.
Yeah, good for him.
But Auntie Wigs said, hold on, I'll be right back. She goes back to she got a home office, comes out with
course
two
she does.
wigs.
She's got to hustle from everywhere.
And she said, she names her wigs. So she's got the Delilah. She's got, what was one? Monisha. She got Monisha. Yeah. Monisha's beautiful. She's red, got long hair, and just names all the wigs. So she takes out two and gives them to her. And she names the one, Bobby Mullet. Because that's exactly what it looked like. It looked like a mullet. It's like this in the front, part in the back. And she sends that. She said maybe that'll help her because she looked like a boy anyway. And
she did not.
Then she sent over one that's like Heather Locklear hair. Got the feathers and all that real blonde.
Okay.
So she sends that over. Or sends it with him to go back. So a couple of days went by. And all of a sudden I heard what happened. That she got the wigs. And they're very nice. But they're nowhere near the quality that she sells, right? So they're sample wigs that the company send her.
Yeah.
So she goes outside and she puts them in the wood chipper because her brother, Monica's brother, was there to handle some trees in the neighborhood. And so she said,
I can't. If everybody could see my facial expressions,
she walks out there with those two wigs and throws it into the wood chipper. Synthetic weed be flying all over the neighborhood. They said it went all in the trees and everything else. Birds are choking on it. So I was like, I blame Uncle Pork Bottoms for showing her the picture to begin with. That never should have.
I blame Uncle Pork Bottoms for giving her the card. He could have stopped the whole interaction. He didn't have to give her the
card. He knows his own sister, and he never should have shown her his girlfriend's picture.
There were so many opportunities, where he could have just stopped everything.
Could have, should have, didn't.
My goodness.
Could have, should have, didn't. Because I'm telling you what, and Auntie Wigs found out about that.
The wood chipper? Of course.
About the wood chipper. And,
because who would have told her?
Oh, no. She said this. But I was on the phone with her. I called her up to check on herself. Things are. And she tells me, Ricky, this ain't a good time to talk to you right now because I'm plotting. I said, what do you mean you're plotting? She said, I'm going to drive myself down to Florida and I got a NASA to whoop some ass. I said, what's on? And she told me the story. And she said, this heifer, took my good weed. I said, no. I heard it was not the good stuff. It don't matter. It came from me. That's priceless. And she said, and she put it through the wood chipper. And if that's how it's going to be, I'm about to put her in that wood chipper. I said, baby, you can't lift nothing. You have a problem lifting a mayonnaise jar. I said, don't even talk about that. And so she's serious. She's talking about actually getting in her car and driving down. And when she says that, she's going to do it.
Yeah, I believe it. Oh, my God.
But she doesn't have her address. And she asked Uncle Boy about it.
She would just drive neighborhood to neighborhood to find, yelling out her name, Monica, where are you?
She took a broom. She took an old-fashioned broom.
Yeah.
And she took a paper plate. And she took top of a broom stick.
Yeah.
She put a hole in it. And she put it all the way down to the end of the broom.
Yeah.
Right? And she started hovering, doing like this and making it beep, 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 beep. I said, what are you doing? That's my Hoe Finder. You know how they got a stud finder? That's my Hoe Finder. I'm going to take my Hoe Finder down there. And I'm going to go find her.
That's crazy.
I was floored because the broom was taller than her.
She's ruthless. Like I said, she scares me.
She wrote Hoe Finder on. She was making peep sounds. I was just like, oh my God.
This is why she is one of my favorites. I'm just
75, 76 years old. I forgot how old she is now. She's my great aunt.
Yeah.
And she is mentally unstable. But she's that old fashioned.
She is so fun.
She is Medea in my family. I ain't playing. And Auntie Big Toe about the same thing.
Yeah.
She about the same thing, but
I'm telling you, I missed family stories, specifically Auntie Wigs stories.
well, she actually left me a text this morning, and she said, "I heard about your daddy. Is he dead yet?" I said, "No."
What
I
a
said,
way to start off the conversation.
Huh?
What a way to start off the conversation.
Oh yeah. And then she said, I brought her back. I said, no. I said, I understand he's out of the hospital and he's doing fine, blah, 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 blah. Oh, good. He owed me money. That's what do you mean owed me money? Way back in 1982, I loaned him $400 for a storage
Oh
apartment,
my goodness.
and he never paid me back, so he owed me some money. So she's going to be the one.
She'll collect at the funeral.
You read my mind.
I know.
So he gonna die. She's gonna go to the funeral, and she gonna, just because you did don't mean you don't owe me my money.
She'll bring the receipt.
I'm gonna flip you over and I'm gonna swipe my debit card and you'll crack in your ass, and that money better get on there.
She would too.
She would do that.
That's the thing. She totally would.
So that's what's going on with the family right now.
That's fun.
So
I miss these stories.
I did have an uncle who passed away. I had to go to his funeral. Uncle Jerry, loved him to death.
Sorry.
And I appreciate that, but he lived a full life, and he wasn't crazy. He wasn't. I was like, it's such a nice, normal funeral. It was weird. It was weird because.
Did you feel a little out of place because it wasn't chaotic?
Well, it was on my mama's side, which is more stable. My daddy's side, that's the crazy one.
Yeah.
That's the one where we had one of our cousins as my daddy's cousin in 1979. So I was a kid at this time. Gets on top of the Walmart. Somehow he climbed up on top of Walmart, butt naked, covered in honey, and poured whiskey on himself, claiming his love for Eugenia, who worked at the Walmart at the time.
As a woman, I can tell you that is not the way to tell me that you love me.
Well, he drank a whole bottle of whiskey before he did that.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
So that tells you that. Okay, so there it is. All right. So that's another edition of Ricky's Big World. I'm sorry.
Don't pour honey on yourself.
Yeah, so the light on, the front door is open, but don't keep coming in here with no drama and no honey and whiskey poured all over you either. And if we owe you money, too bad. Bye. I heard that story since I was a kid.